Hello, true believers. Welcome to my channel, Mr. Miracle Comics. My name is Dave, and today I have 5 more undervalued comic books for us to take a look at. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody. I've actually reached 1,000 subscribers now, and that's such a fantastic mark for me. I know, like, when I first started this, I really thought nobody would even watch. I would get no views, but now I have 1,000 subscribers. Amazing. So thank you to everybody that subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, please, help me get to my 2,000 subscriber out there. Again, thank you everybody, and thanks for watching these videos all the time. But let's get on to some comic books. All right. So, number one on our list, and I picked, and it is from 1987, and it is the X-Men number 221. You may recognize this as the first appearance of Mr. Sinister. Now, this book got hot a while back, but it's really fallen off the radar. But it really shouldn't have, right? A lot of what happened with this book getting hot was a rumors around Mr. Sinister being in the New Mutants movie. And apparently that may have just ended up on the cutting room floor, but they still want to bring Mr. Sinister into it. And specifically, we've heard rumors again that Kevin Feige has been talking with John Hamm, who was rumored to be originally cast as Mr. Sinister. Plus what happened at the end of Deadpool 2 with the whole allusion to Mr. Sinister there. Now that Deadpool's into the MCU for sure. There's all kinds of things that are saying this. Like, it's not just John Hamm that's had a rumor about being Mr. Sinister, Keanu Reeves. There's been a few other actors, okay, some major actors, but always swirling around Mr. Sinister. And regardless of who ends up having him, I think he has a real high probability of becoming the main X-Men villain when the X-Men are introduced to the MCU. They're not going to want to take Magneto again. We've had 20 years of Magneto. And I can't deny Magneto's a fantastic character. He, carried that whole X-Men villain through the 20 years of the Fox X-Men movies, joining the team, being against the team, bringing the Brotherhood, all kinds of different actors and people playing him. But that's the thing. We've had 20 years of Magneto. It's time for a change, and Disney's going to see that too. I mean, they're talking about how can we differentiate the MCU X-Men from the Fox X-Men. They want to make that separation for people to get into the movies. And one of the things they're not going to do is have the same villain, because it's just going to bring back the Fox, movies into people's minds, trying to figure out if this is connected somehow because Magneto's there and these characters are there and those characters. So I think they're going to want to bring in new characters, and I think a really good choice of villain is Mr. Sinister, and I think has a very high probability of being one of the X-Men big bad guys. All right, so from 1987, X-Men number 221, and prices I've seen, like I said, this has dropped off. And looking around right now, you can get this thing from $25 to $50, depending on what kind of grade you want. I got this one not too long ago for $15 Canadian, but that was a deal, right? Look to pay around the $25 mark. There's lots of them out there. Sometimes this one goes way undervalued in the bids. I saw that recently. One went for $1.25 plus shipping on there, so you can still get deals on this book. People have stopped paying attention to it as much, and it's a really good time, I feel, to grab this one and perhaps have a major villain appearance that could end up in a major MCU franchise. All right, again, from 1987, the Uncanny X-Men number 221, first appearance of Mr. Sinister. So another first appearance comic that I'd like to bring up, and a lot of people are going after the comic book just before this one, but it is from 2008, and it is the Incredible Hulk. Oh, sorry, not the Incredible Hulk. It is Hulk number 2. Okay, and this has the first appearance of A-Bomb in it. Now, my generation of comic book collectors, we didn't grow up with A-Bomb, but the next generation did. You know what I mean? And especially the one right after that with Hulk and the Agents of Smash. A-Bomb was very much on the cartoons. He's been in the comic books. He's a character named Rick Jones, whose first appearance is actually in the Incredible Hulk #1 from back in the 60s, way, way back, the very first Hulk. But here he becomes a character called A-Bomb, and he was a very popular character with kids who are not kids anymore. That was, Hulk and the Agents of Smash is 5, 6 years ago. Those kids are starting to grow up. They're not 10-year-olds anymore. They're 16-year-olds, and pretty soon they're going to be 20-year-olds, and they're going to be spending money at the movies. And MCU is going to want to bring characters in that generation identifies with, so that they can continue to draw people in generation by generation. Having people my age drawn in for the Fantastic Four is great, but you need the next set as well being drawn in by characters like A-Bomb and Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales and stuff like that, which are also incredibly popular characters. So when I see a character like A-Bomb and I see the Hulk is very popular, and now we're going to have the She-Hulk movie, we're going to see more Hulk, 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 Hulk. I think A-Bomb could be a potential, maybe not getting his own movie, but being a character in a movie or slash being a character in a streaming service on Disney Plus. And this book is significantly less priced than the Incredible Hulk. And then Hulk #1, which has the first appearance of the Red Hulk. This is also the second appearance of the Red Hulk, so that's a little bit of a bonus as well. But more importantly, it's the first appearance of A-Bomb. And you can find this book easily online, and there's a few variants. Depending on what kind of variant you want, there's a 1 in 50 variant and stuff. But for the regular cover, just like I have here, you're looking to pay about $10 for this guy, okay, which is cheap for a first appearance. And you may not realize any significant value. It's not going to shoot up and become the hot book tomorrow, but it does have potential in there to become a hot book down the road, especially if A-Bomb starts showing up in any kind of MCU product, Disney product. All right, so from 2008, Hulk #2, first appearance of A-Bomb. Look to pay about $10 for that guy. All right, so let's do some Spider stuff. All right, I love Spider-Man myself, and I would like to pick this guy as I brought it up before, and I'm going to bring it up again because this book continues to have all these firsts in it, and it seems to really fly under people's radars. But people are starting to pick up on the idea of it just a little bit. And it is from 2014, The Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 3, number 9. Okay? And there's tons of first Spider-Verse appearances in here. Several characters. The first time Spider-Gwen, Silk, and Spider-Woman get together in a team. Second appearance of Spider-Gwen. There's like a ton of stuff that goes on in here. But most importantly, and what I'm kind of talking about in this one, is the first cameo appearance of Takayuya Yashito. Okay, so, and he is SpiderMan, who is the Japanese Spider-Man. And there's a lot of rumors, and people and fans and all kinds of stuff are pressuring on them to put SpiderMan into the next Spider-Verse movie, right? They're going to bring in the Spider Army or whatever. And if they bring in the Japanese Spider-Man, he already has an immense popular following in Asia and quite a following here in North America. If you don't know who he is, please go watch this movie or the show. It is like, he is the original Power Rangers, man. Like, this guy started up before right around the time that the original show for Power Rangers started up, way before Power Rangers. And it's crazy. It's a crazy show. Like, he gets his powers by being bit by an alien spider from the planet Spider, who gives him spider powers, and he's got like all kinds of crazy gadgets and a spider car. And it is definitely not the North American Spider-Man, but very popular, very fun show to watch. They're on YouTube. You can go ahead and watch some of those. But this book with so many firsts and so much going on in it, it always surprises me that it's just not. Since the last time I spec'd on it, it has almost doubled in value. But I've expected to see a much better realization of that, especially if Spider-Man is in Spider-Verse 2, because I think he's going to be a standout character. He's definitely very popular already, and I think in that context he's going to be very popular. And again, they're always trying to appeal more to the Asian market because it's become very, very important to the movie's bottom line, how much money it can also make in Asia and other markets, right? So definitely putting in that sort of Asian flavor into the Spider-Verse 2 is going to happen. right? They will. They have to. It's a no-brainer. You know, the producers and director and everything would have to be idiots not to put him into that Spider-Verse 2 movie. So, this book, like I said, super cheap. You can find it. Well, I was just looking it up now. Less than $10, all over the place, right? This one I got for $6 at my LCS. See that? $6 Canadian. So still super cheap. All kinds of number one appearances in this book, and I really think it's undervalued at that kind of price. Good chance to still go out and get it. Get that first appearance of SpiderMan in an American comic, and yeah. So from 2014, The Amazing Spider-Man #9. Look to pay about $10 for that guy, and even cheaper, but following right behind. And you can't have one without the other. So this is from 2015, just a few months later, The Amazing Spider-Man #12. Okay, so 3 issues later, and we have the first full appearance, okay, of Spider-Man in a comic here. So in #9, he has a little cameo appearance in a panel. In this book, he actually interacts. This is his like true first, not just cameo appearance here in this book. But more importantly, in this book is the first appearance of Leopardon. And Leopardon is Spider-Man's giant robot. Okay. And he's, based around a leopard. That's why he's Leopardon. But he was actually the very first giant Japanese space TV robot, right? Like if you watch Spider-Man, you'll see it's the Power Rangers, and Leopardon was the first one. And Leopardon was immensely popular in Japan, and he really made the show Spider-Man endure a bit longer, and inspired them to do Power Rangers. Like if you watch those shows, it's Power Rangers. That is the prequel to Power Rangers, and Leopardon was the very first of those giant robots that went out there, and I think he's going to be a standout character. If Leopardon and Spider-Man show up in the Spider-Verse 2, they're definitely going to be immensely popular. And I think that their first appearances should see quite a bump when that kind of thing happens, right? I know Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 is not happening it's going to be a while, like a year and a half or so before it comes out, even longer maybe. But now is the time to get those kind of first appearances and get it, right? So, in 2015, The Amazing Spider-Man #12, first appearance of Leopardon, and first full appearance of Spider-Man. Look to pay around, what was my pricing here? Yeah, less than $10, $5 to $10 for this guy. It's a good, yeah, people are kind of picking up on it, and this one is like super crisp. So I paid a little bit more. There was a couple copies I could have gotten out of my LCS. So I didn't have to go pay eBay prices or anything. It was at my LCS already. But, right, so look to pay about around $10, maybe $5 to $10. You might find it in a dollar bin. It's really under the radar, but people are starting to pick up on it just because of the popularity of Spider-Man and Leopardon especially. All right, so continuing on. Speaking of giant robots, here's a book that I'd like to bring up again, and I brought this up for like a year and a half, and it really has seen much better prices in that time. But there's been some news about this sort of franchise lately, and that could really help to see this book see some nice realization. And it's from 1984. It is the Copper Age edition, official English adaptation of Macross, which has the first Robotech in it. Now, Robotech was bogged down in a battle over who's got rights to release it in Japan or release it overseas, and who can put it on video, and who can put it on DVD, and who has the rights to put it on television, and who has the rights for this. And basically they were fighting with each other, these companies, and they locked down the franchise, and there was not a lot of movement. Like you couldn't even get Robotech Masters or the Invade Invasion on DVD, right? I don't even know if it came out on VHS or it was released in North America. That I'm not sure. You can find them online, I think, in some places, but this show recently, I think they finally came to their senses and realized that, nobody's making money when we're doing this. So at least if we work together, we come up with some kind of deal where we all make money, even if it's not going to be the maximum money we can make, at least we're making something and we're not just sitting on this golden franchise. Again, Asian culture films, comic books, and all this stuff are really coming into their own in North America, right? I mean, a lot of people's first induction into, manga or, was Robotech in North America, was Robotech, right? In any kind of anime, of course, Robotech, right? So it's really near and dear to a lot of people from 1984 who were kids and watched on Saturday morning cartoons. It also has a lot of people, or it appeals to Japanese people, where it was very very popular when it came out. Korea, China is now seeing Robotech, becoming very popular in China as well. So all these other cultures are starting to pick it up. North America's starting to pick it up. It's being released in the UK. Finally, we're getting some sort of traction on getting this franchise licensed out there and actually being able to be used by somebody or several somebodies. So what I've heard is that there is something now in agreement, and right away they are having plans for some sort of streaming show, perhaps a movie, something that's going on. This is one of those very, very early plans. So they don't even know what they're going to do with it, but they just know that now they can do something, and something is better than nothing. And so we could see some Robotech showing up in the next few years in some sort of major franchise, perhaps another streaming service or something. That should see this book get a bit of a jump in price, because right now you can find this book, and I was looking, 15 to 20 bucks for a really nice copy of it. There's, if you want a slab copy, it's a little more expensive, of course, but it's not an expensive book in any stretch, right? If you think that it was, there's some weird stuff around the Robotech name that come out. The DC originally owned it, and then they put out this book just before the Robotech other book that DC put out, and blah blah blah. Anyways, this is the first. I would highly recommend picking this up because of the first Robotech, and we could definitely see some Robotech and Macross and Robotech Masters or whatever that's going to go on. If and I think it could be very very popular. A lot of North Americans have fond feelings and identify with Robotech. They understand Robotech. They know the characters. They know what's going on. It's not just one of those isolated Asian things that culture, cultural things coming out of Asia that's trying to be introduced into North America. They don't have to water it down. They don't have to do anything. It's already people understand what what Robotech is worldwide. So it has a lot of potential as a series, a lot of potential for other entertainments in it. And with that deal happening, could be good. Could be real good for Robotech. Could be real good for this book. Again, from 1984, first English adaptation of Macross. Look to pay $15-20 for this guy. All right, guys. So thanks. That's been our 5 books for this video. Again, thank you for helping me get to 1,000. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And everybody, just a reminder, right? Wednesdays are new comic book days, but every day is old comic book day. All right, I'll see you next video.